cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Well, welcome to the world of pop coffee. I'm your host, Joshua. This is Jordan. Say hello.
Hi, how you doing?
All right. Pop coffee is a collaboration between us, and we want to elaborate on how we got here. And we're going to start by getting to know the roaster, and that is you,
Jordan Westcott.
man. So first, here's my cheesy intro. We're done with that. And so what about, let's start with your background and your upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning. Don't go, oh yeah, I guess go back to where you were born and all that.
Well, I'm from northern Michigan. I'm from a small town called Gaylord. You know this. Grew up small family of four. Not too much popping. Regular blue-collar family from up in the rural woods of northern Michigan.
Good old northern Michigan boy.
We lived on a lake, but not lakefront, like the other side of the street that ran along the lake. Still cool, though.
Not prime
Still a good
lakefront
time.
real estate.
Still a good time. My family's house is the only house that's on a hill in the whole neighborhood, which is great because everything's been flooding out there, actually. There's about a quarter-mile stretch of their road that's been underwater for the better part of a year now. Once the lake gets higher and higher, they're going to be safer and safer.
Got the high ground. It's always the advantage.
That's the way that works.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you started up north in Michigan. How'd you make it down here? Well, first of all, we're in Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Yeah, shooting from Ypsilanti, Michigan, where
we're
Joshua and I
actually, yeah,
roast our coffee and also first met back in
a lot of history.
2016, I believe.
Wow.
Met as I was the barista here. I was the roaster here,
4
and
years
Joshua was a customer here. A beautiful
Seems like
friendship
yesterday.
blossomed.
Yeah. So you
It
made it
doesn't-
down
it
here
doesn't
from
seem
Gaylord,
like
and then once you arrived in Ypsilanti, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You started roasting coffee not long after.
Well, when I lived in Gaylord, I was working at a Biggie Coffee. I was a manager at a Biggie Coffee.
A
And
basic
then
coffee shop.
It was,
Shout out,
I
Biggie.
started drinking coffee probably when I was 14. I'd hang out at a cafe in Gaylord called Seems Like
It has its place.
after school, and I would drink coffee all day long until my parents maybe come home.
How young were you when you started drinking coffee?
I was 14 or 15.
Probably young.
Probably
All
14.
right. I don't know.
Started with the sweet beverages. It wasn't black coffee
Yeah.
and stuff. It was 7-Eleven with tons of creamer or, my beloved hometown cafe.
Glorified hot
now
chocolate.
Closed. Now closed. Um,
So that's when you first discovered coffee?
That's when I first started drinking coffee. Yeah. Then I got a job at Bigby Coffee. I was a regular there at one point in time, and
Eventually they hired you?
I was heavily convinced to join the crew there, mainly from the free coffee benefits. But
Free coffee is free coffee.
yeah,
As
I
we
actually
know.
made it down to Ypsilanti at one point in time. I came down for a concert, and I never went home. That's how I got here.
Excuse me. That was the whiskey. So, what concert was it?
Oh, it was a 21 Pilots concert.
Yes.
It was a pretty alright show.
Yes.
Actually, they came out into, it was a DTE for everybody that's not in Michigan. DTE is an outdoor venue.
Yeah.
The general admission
Classic
section is
Michigan.
on a giant hill. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun.
Unless it's the rain and then it's very muddy and on the
Wow.
hill, it's slippery.
Sometimes that can be fun, depending on what kind of show you're seeing.
I've seen Pat Benatar, Motley Crue, Neil Young, CSNY, I think, or Vanilla Fudge.
40?
Like,
You saw
no, they had
Vanilla-
their,
you
they
saw
were like
Vanilla-
almost dead when
you
this
saw
that
Vanilla
tour.
Fudge?
They had their like get back together ending of like, I don't even think one original band member was left.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, it was great. But I've seen, you see the, who did I say, Peter Frampton? Like, I mean, DTE, you'll get, I mean, a lot of Kid Rock.
Mhm.
I mean, there's,
I was supposed to see Dead and Company at DTE this summer. I'm really bummed that it didn't happen.
not a lot of concerts have happened this year.
Yeah, it's been
It's been a very bad
a
year.
hard year.
for the
We don't need to touch on
live
that.
music.
Everybody knows about that one.
So, but let's, I guess, change gears from what's not going on to what is going on. We're doing well with e-commerce and selling coffee. I think a lot of people are learning to make their own coffee at home. as coffee shops are limited capacities and all that. So I guess that we got in at the right time. Anyway.
Definitely that. Not being a coffee company without a brick and mortar.
Yeah, but that's boring. Why do you love roasting coffee?
You know, it started with I started roasting coffee after I moved to Ypsilanti. I had a job at a cafe in Ann Arbor that I hated. It was just the job that I got when I moved here. I also worked part-time at a Jimmy John's, which was fine.
Love Jimmy's.
One of my roommates was the assistant manager here, where we're filming right now, formerly the Ugly Mug Cafe and Roastery of Ypsilanti.
Kind of feels like
she convinced me to come down and join the crew, and I did, and luckily enough, I was one of the youngest people that they had ever hired. I was freshly 18 at the time. It was like 2 or 3 weeks after my 18th birthday. A couple months into working here, maybe not even a couple months, maybe 1 month into working here. The head roaster, Jacob, at the time, asked me, yeah, we know Jacob. Jacob asked me if I had any interest in, learning how to roast coffee after he learned that I had somewhat of an interest in chemistry coming right out of high school. So he thought I might enjoy it. Turns out I did. It's very fun. It's very, I don't know, there's a certain sense of accomplishment that you feel when you
I'd imagine.
order green beans, you order raws, beans from a sourcing company, wherever it is that you get your beans, and you get to take them through the steps that you need to take them through. You need to, profile your coffee first. You need to make sure that it's going to taste good. Whether that be one test run, you roast it the first time and you're like, cool, I've got a blueprint down. This coffee is great right off rip. Or, I've had coffees in the past that have been not great. Yeah. Not like that. I've had coffees
Some
in the
are
past
trickier than others.
I'm sampling the coffee for 2 months after I get it, and I still don't have it down, and I'm frustrated that this is such a a lazy bean.
So what's your favorite one, I guess, in your experience so far? What is your favorite coffee you've roasted?
Oh man,
this is off script.
I've roasted. I didn't get a chance to look at the script actually. This is
all
off script for me.
Got him a little drunk off the cuff. Let's get it.
I don't know.
What's your favorite one?
I've roasted a lot of coffees.
Ethiopia,
and
Colombia.
I don't know if I can remember.
You can remember
all of them. Well, Did
you ever have that magic moment?
There was one magic moment. There was one Colombia that I had probably 2 or 3 years ago. It was in Excelso. I don't remember the farm. But damn, that coffee actually tasted like apples and cream. It was very, very good. It was probably the most startlingly flavored coffee that I had ever had. It was
something like that. I would imagine would remind you why you started and why you do this.
Yes, there's always one of my favorite things is those moments that I talked to you about or that I just mentioned. Where on the first roast, the first trial run for a new bean, you get you do that first roast and it's just a sample. You're roasting a small batch. You're roasting less than you would normally roast. You're trying to dial it in. You're trying to see how this bean reacts to So you do all of this, and then you go to brew a cup of coffee. And to your surprise, this cup of coffee is actually very good. There is nothing that you think that you need to change about the roast to get it done. There is just such a satisfying feeling about that, going in blind, not knowing exactly. I've always got a rough idea, of what a coffee should be like when I order it the first time. I know what I want it to taste like when I'm done with it, and sometimes it doesn't. But when it does the first time, it's just
you're winging it sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's like trying something new for the first time and you got it down.
Yeah.
It's here's we'll go off script again. Here we go. I shot skeet for a while.
Skeet?
Yeah, I remember the very first time that I ever shot skeet. My father was not super into it. My father's very young, so he developed hobbies at a later age.
You're going to take the skeet shooting? Show me your skills?
He probably started skeet shooting. He doesn't do it anymore. Neither one of us do. I haven't shot skeet in years. He bought a clay shooter. and just took me in the backyard one day. I had shotguns plenty of times, never at target ranges or anything, just in the backyard. Again, from the woods.
Woodsman.
Yeah, so he pulls these clays, and I'm watching him shoot them, and I'm like, damn, I'd like to try that. I got behind it. He pulled one clay, I hit it. And then he pulled two clays at the same time, and I hit him. And he was like, oh, wow, you're really good at that. And I was like, oh, damn,
You play a lot of duck?
I kind of am.
Duck Hunt? Nintendo? I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't.
No.
I'm not old enough for that one. But
Yeah, I am, though.
Yeah, I know.
And it was great.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, I'm really... No one can see this, but this coffee shop we're in has a Nintendo 64 set up with Smash Brothers right over there.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And I think at one point when you were actually the barista here, we had a Pac-Man tabletop.
It was actually Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man, yes.
And I was actually talking to Teddy about that actually earlier today. We're going to try and get that back in here.
That was by far...
I held the high score.
Yeah, I think all coffee shops should have like a video game. Like, just a video game, at least, for everyone's use.
Sure.
So, just to talk about that, so, like, you know, here I am talking about when you were the barista and they had a video game, but we're also talking about your roasting. And for a while, you did both, you know, what's that, at the same time. But now, you are exclusively roasting for yourself or for others, but freelance roasting and custom roasting your own brand. So, what's it like the difference in... I don't want to say the quality of your life, but how is your life different now that you're a roaster instead of a barista?
Man, oh man. So, being a barista, you know, I know you. We work together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Josh likes to get coffee before he comes into the office. Sometimes Josh is up real early in the morning. But no matter what time Josh gets up to go get a coffee in the morning, whoever's serving him the coffee definitely had to get up sooner and had to start their day before you.
I realize that.
I am a morning person, but there came a time in being a barista where I would wake up, you know, I'm waking up 19 days in a row at...
What's your normal wake up time?
5 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's
4 or 5?
4 or 5, depending on when I'm working. When I was working here, when this cafe was open, we opened at 7, so I didn't have to be here so early.
Okay.
I had to be here at 6
nice.
to open up. When I was working in downtown Detroit, we opened at 6. I lived about 45 minutes away. I was driving. It was a whole thing. But yeah, waking up at 4 in the morning, and all of a sudden you're waking up at 4 in the morning, getting done with work at 2 p.m., and you're like, oh, I'm very tired. And, you know, this doesn't go for all baristas.
Yeah.
Not everybody's a morning shift. But
well, how far you live from your coffee shop?
Right. So the quality, I guess so to say, the quality of my life has improved a little bit. Being just a freelance roaster, I've always preferred roasting. The sheer amount of...
Well, let's back up a second, too. You've told me, I don't want to pull anyone under the bus right now, but you've told me that certain places have like a lot more of a strict guidebook, so to speak, for you to roast by when you come to work for them. But you've had a lot of free reign.
Yeah, I've never had a job where I worked under another roaster, spare the probably year that I was apprenticing here under Jacob.
But you needed that at the time, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely needed it. I mean, there's only so much that you can do when it comes to roasting coffee and learning. It's not something that you can go take classes for it, but you're not going to go to a whole college for coffee roasting. You're going to take it's like a glass.
It's like a lot of things. Experience
or a beer brewing class. So you do that. There's plenty of books. There's a lot of great material out there that you can help learn. There's YouTube videos, I'm sure, tons of online articles, but there's nothing that's more conducive for learning than actually being back here and using the machine. But again, no matter how many books that you read, and no matter how many YouTube videos you watch, getting behind, I don't know if you can see this machine. This is my close-up, so we'll do this machine. Getting behind a machine like this for the first time by yourself, and all you've done is ever read books about it, and you're like, whoa, I don't know about that one. So yeah, definitely having that year-long apprenticeship was a really
What machine are we looking at here?
Thing.
You want to tell the audience?
This is a San Franciscan 25.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. We've used a few since we've gone and done our own thing. We've tried a few roasters. We're gonna continue to, I think some people get, they learn on this one. They want to use this one. They've invested a lot of money. These things cost a lot of money to have a real roaster, and then, maybe people are worried that they won't be as, their talent won't shine through on another machine, maybe, or something like that. But I think that you and I've talked about this a lot about how we want our company to be more than that. Like we don't want to, we're trying to break stigmas. We're trying to change the game in certain ways. And I think that we're really interested in different technologies and different cool things that I don't want to be limited. But this happens to be a really special machine to us.
I love this machine.
So
I've roasted on.
So that all being said, I do love this machine too.
I've roasted on a lot of roasters, and this is by far my favorite.
Exactly.
This is my baby. I've taken this machine apart. I've put it back together again.
It's a gorgeous machine.
I've been on the roof. I've swept the smokestack out. I've done everything when it comes to this machine.
And I think you watched it catch on fire once.
I did. I did. I did catch this machine on fire one time. It wasn't. I didn't catch the machine on fire. This certain model is equipped with an afterburner.
Yeah. No, it's like a saver. We're laughing because it wasn't.
The afterburner is right outside, so there's a
safety first, everyone. Don't roast coffee if you don't know what you're doing.
I ran into a friend, had a little too long of a friendly conversation without paying attention while the machine was on.
That's why we're not running it right now.
Yeah.
But we're going to run it after this and show you. So, right now, besides coffee, let's just get off coffee. Besides coffee, what else are you into? What interests you? What excites you? What are you... what's on your, what playlists are you listening to? I don't know.
Yeah,
Tell us.
Yeah, let's talk about me. I'm very self-centered.
He's a Leo. Everyone, watch out.
I really wanted to take that pause to look in the camera.
I can edit it so it looks like dramatic for you.
Yeah, perfect. I've always been a big nature guy. Again, I came from the woods.
Woodsman.
Josh knows this. Every couple of weeks, I will very abruptly come to him and I'll say, hey, I'm leaving town, going camping. And I'll leave town and I'll go camping by myself for a little while.
Solo. Hell yeah.
I love it. That's part of the reason that I love working with Josh. Josh and I sell raid barrels in our spare time. Not a full-time thing.
Separate business. Different podcast.
Yeah, that I love reading. Love reading books. Love film. I'm a big art guy.
You are definitely a film buff. I'm not going to lie.
I'm a big art guy. But
I went to film school here, and you're like telling me directors. I'm like, how are you?
Yeah,
and you're
I love it.
You're for sure.
Love film. Love
respect your film.
When I say I like to read, I'm going to be very specific. I like to read novels. I like to read fictional and or semi-fictional novels. I do not enjoy nonfiction. I do not read.
Which is up for debate. On our Instagram it does say that you really love nonfiction.
I didn't write that. But
so he says.
My other interest, my biggest interest is probably other people.
So you
There's
really
nothing that I love.
Hold on, we're going back to fiction or not. What do you have against nonfiction?
My thing is,
I want to know.
When I read a novel, I do it for pleasure. I'm not reading a novel with the intent of I wouldn't pick up Adventures of a Roman Boy by Lucius. I wouldn't pick this book up and say, boy, I can't wait to figure out what this is about. Novels are something that you pick up and you're like, you read it, it's a story, you enjoy it. It's kind of like the difference between watching a movie and watching a documentary. And I don't have anything against nonfiction, but reading is a pleasurable activity for me. And if I wanted to learn something, I would go out and do it. And in order to do that, I'm sure I would need to read some nonfiction.
I get it.
So I do read nonfiction, but only with specific intent in mind. I'm not reading, I'm not reading about things that I don't care about for no reason at any time.
I like to read a little bit of both. I haven't been reading enough lately, though, so I'm not going to act like this. Your literally nose is always in a book. Very, very envious of your dedication to literature. This is actually a book you're reading right now.
That's not true.
This is actually who is this guy? Can we talk about him real quick?
I found this.
This is a found.
I found
art.
it on the street.
Yeah, this is found. It might have spiritual powers. We're not sure.
It's actually the first of two hand-carved totems that I found. The other one is at my apartment.
Oh, that one's crazy. Yeah.
I watched it appear in the sky. It appeared about...
Wait, you really think this was hand-carved?
It appeared about this high off the ground and fell. It was crazy.
Still up for debate.
Yeah, I definitely think this was hand carved.
How many mushrooms were you on
There's no stamping on.
when you saw
I
that
was at
totem?
work, so not very many for sure. Um,
Microdosing just a little too hard. I don't. This guy.
yeah, this one's got no stamping on it. It's definitely hand carved.
So this guy right here, he just appeared. No, the other one though,
The other-
he appeared
the other
in just thin air and materialized.
Yeah.
Like beamed, like from Star Trek, like
I swear,
It-
it happened.
into space. Anyway, the point is that hand carved totems find Jordan, and we're not sure why, and more are on their way, hopefully. So that leads us into our next question, which is, where do you see yourself in the next 10, 20 years? Are you going to be hand carving totems, or are you going to be roasting coffee?
I'd imagine it'd be roasting coffee, probably, if everything goes according to plan.
Okay, let's break that down. What's your 10-year plan? What's your 20-year plan? Where do you want to?
Those are huge questions to ask
Yeah.
a man of 23 years old.
I know, that's why I'm asking you ridiculous questions, because we're going to look back on this.
10 years from now.
It's a big question.
I would definitely, I know that you and I have been talking about getting into whiskey making.
Exactly.
I
I think that's their next.
something that we could get down on. By the way, tonight we are really swinging into the left field here, or whatever the expression is. We're drinking Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Very far out for us. That's a very
Guilty pleasure
odd.
of mine.
It is good though. It
It's
is
a
very
fucking
delicious.
good.
But yeah, I would love to get
Guilty pleasure of
into. I would love to get into whiskey making. I would love to hopefully be in a position. I would love to. I've got this vision of some community garden things going on in the communities that wherever I may find myself, probably around the Detroit area or the American Southwest. It's one or the other, so we'll see.
Check out our first episode to learn more about his, love for the Southwest. Shameless self-promotion.
I love the American Southwest.
I've never been, and so I think a trip's in our future. All right, I'm going to scratch the 20-year plan because your 10-year plan was good enough. I'm very, very happy.
I didn't really have a 10-year plan.
You don't have any plans, but
maybe
you
I'd
proved.
be making whiskey.
Yeah, no, you said, basically you told me that you're going to graduate,
Basically,
elevate.
here's my 10-year plan. Here's my whole plan here. I hate finances. I
Wow,
hate them.
that's
I
a
detest-
bold statement.
I detest finances. It's horrible. Has been the biggest
Jordan
obstacle for me to overcome
hates
my
finances.
entire life. In 10 years,
What's your-
the only thing that
Never gonna
I
ask
want,
that.
being a man of very many interests, in 10 years, I would like to be in a position where I could pursue every single one of my interests without having the burden of,
You're trying to
Financial
get out of the rat race, man.
Not to say so much that I'm trying to.
So you think you're going to retire in 10 years?
I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that
You
I
could.
would like to get to a point where I'm not saying that I want to make so much money where money's not a problem. I'm saying that I would like to put my life in a position where all of a sudden money wasn't a problem. Be it my expenses are so low, I'm living in a sustainable way, etc., etc. Whatever it is, I just want
I would
to
agree.
not worry about. My main thing is about active income.
Define what do you mean here?
Active income is like having a job that you go to make money. I would like to live in a way that either I didn't have a monthly bill that was high enough to necessitate me needing that, or in a way that I had a passive income that could pay that for me. I'm all about, and at that point in time, all of my interests, all of my hobbies, all of these things, all in the interest of helping other people. And I just feel like if I wouldn't have to worry about finances, I could do a much better job serving my neighbors.
Your mind would be clear.
I would just love
And
to
when your
help
mind
people
is
out a little
clear,
bit better.
then your life comes into focus.
Yeah. Building yourself up. If you improve the quality of your life, all of a sudden you'll find the quality of life of all of those surrounding you also improves. It's a chain effect.
Or you have the means or the ability to help others in a way that you didn't and you wished you could. I have a similar, I think that is a really wonderful thing that a lot of people don't do when they, talk about where they want to be. what do they want out of life? They want money. Well, what do you want to do with that? Well, what impact, what do you want to do with your time on earth? Like, why are you here? I'm genuinely here to help others. And, I think coffee is a part of society in a way where, you are helping people one by one, cup by cup. You're helping people, you're helping the farmers make, sourcing, when they're fairly paid. That you're helping these farmers, unlike these huge corporations that give them bottom dollar for their beans.
By the way, Pop Coffee Roasters only uses fair trade organic coffee.
And it's important. You can't, cut corners these days. I mean, you're talking about huge markups, or cuts actually for, your big coffee companies, that they'll buy all of your coffee, but they're going to pay you a third of what it's worth. And, people are not able to make a living, feed their families in these, coffee growing regions of the world. And, when I started this company with you, we talked about that. And I'm really glad that, you're helping people on both sides, and then we're also, we have families and we're helping, everyone along the way. And I think that there's enough to go around. Whatever your business is, there's a lot of opportunity right now.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to think creatively. You can't, be a dinosaur right now. We got a lot going on in the world around us, and people are, going out of business left and right. And, luckily our business is growing on, both ends. We do a lot of things.
The thing is that it's, it's not the 80s anymore. Business isn't as
definitely
cutthroat.
not.
Business is not as cutthroat as it used to be. Or
I mean, in a way,
it's changed. It's
in a
changed
way,
drastically.
In a way, technology's changed is what's changed.
Yes.
To be honest, because now your stocks are, tech giants, and people selling people's information in like crazy gaming companies and in social networks and things like that. Okay, Airbnb is going public next week. They're the largest hotel company and they don't own a single hotel, brick and mortar. So like your Ubers changed the world, and I definitely used that momentum to create my brands that allowed us to create Pop Coffee, that stands for, I don't think I even mentioned this the whole show, pour over perfection. Because at home, we want you to do that. So to stick true to like the whole thing is we're trying to help people, to perfect the perfect pour over at home. We're trying to help people on an individual level, whether you're a barista serving a cup or you're what's that, teach a man to fish. And
yeah, there's this thing, which, pour over perfection.
Simple. You lost your train of thought, didn't you?
I lost it.
Well, here you go.
Oh.
Anyway, at the end of everything, I ran out of questions. But what I do have wrote down, scribbled here in my horrible handwriting, is shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
For you, not me.
For me?
You shout out people, not me.
Okay.
Who do you have to shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Jacob Carroll.
Look it right in there.
One of my boys. Jacob Carroll, if you're watching this, I tried to call you earlier today.
Jacob.
You didn't pick up.
We need a dongle.
It's cool, yeah. I tried to call you to borrow something from you. You didn't pick up. It's totally fine. That's it.
Okay, just
no,
Jacob.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Let's see. Shout out Teddy Morrow, who I believe is still out in the building somewhere. Teddy was the one who initially hired me, started my job, gave me the opportunity to start roasting coffee.
Part of my heart.
Mommy and Daddy.
Of course.
A long, long time ago, they kissed one too many times, and a child was made.
Now, they're still in Gaylord?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Big time. I just adopted 2 children. I have 2 new little sisters.
Wow. We'll shout them out, too. Hello, new little sisters. And I definitely just want to say thank you to Cross Street, the Ugly Mug, which enhanced my journey into the coffee and led to starting my own company, as well as you and us meeting.
It led to this.
So here we are.
Do you want to tell them the first time that we hung out outside of work?
I don't remember.
We don't hang out outside of work.
I don't actually remember that ever happening. So we're gonna end there.
We're gonna end that. Yeah.
No, I'm out of whiskey. It's really hard to end. But anyway,
That's fair.
Thank you. This was episode 2. So Now you know who Jordan really is, and more to come.